This podcast is presented by the Petite Victory Collective. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Modular Stories. In this podcast, I would like to create a platform for people to share themselves, their stories, their experiences, and their life lessons. Before each episode, my guest can build and patch their own background music with the help of my modular synth. My goal with this podcast is to inspire the listeners, spark their creativity, and to share these incredible people I get to talk to with the world. I hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Modular Stories. Today I have Eddie with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hey everyone, I'm Eddie. I'm a third-year singer in the jazz and pop department here at Artes. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met last year.
Yeah.
I started, and I think the first time was in the introduction camp, right? The project week.
The project week, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
you were coaching our bands.
Yeah.
It was really fun. You were doing great stuff. I was really happy that I was taught by you. You had really nice tips about the kicks in our songs.
Oh, yeah.
That was super sick, man. And you got us our band name.
The Driplets.
The Driplets.
Man, I should have stolen that, honestly.
Yeah, but you were.
Damn it.
We asked you. You allowed us to do that.
Yeah, I know. I make bad decisions sometimes.
It's all right. I think we all do. But I would be very interested in learning how you started with music. What got you into music, into singing? You're also now playing bass.
Yeah. So, I started very, very young. Like, I was 3 years old, and my sister used to play the recorder. And, obviously, being 3 years old, I would have to go to the lessons because we were staying at my grandma's place because my mom was working, and they couldn't just leave me at home. So I came along to every lesson. She always played the recorder, just like simple stuff, and I would always sit in the corner and sing everything I heard, like just sing along. And my grandma told my mom about that, and then my mom was like, "Do you wanna sign up for some lessons, do something, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I got signed up. First thing I signed up to was actually singing lessons. And I remember, my memory of that time is quite blurry, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But first memory I have of that was when I was 5 years old. I had like a performance that kind of went through my music school, and they put me together with an orchestra into a casino as a 5-year-old.
As a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I did like one Mozart song. It was super cute, super adorable. Like, my grandma is a tailor, so she handmade me a costume to look like a little Mozart.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
I hope those pictures have been destroyed, but knowing my family, they're somewhere out there.
I want these pictures.
I'll think about it.
Oh, that must be so cute.
Yeah, and I remember being like really enamored with the violins at that gig. I was like, wow, that looks really fun. So I asked for violin lessons. Yeah, I was 5 years old. I asked for violin lessons. And my mom, of course, first was like, you sure you really want to do this? So I was like, yeah, I want this. And I've always been very headstrong. So if I want something, I'm going to push till I get it. So I got violin lessons. And I also then, through a friend of my mom, just got some keyboard lessons. And my violin teacher, I had a Russian violin teacher who always had this notion of, okay, I'm going to make every single one of my students be like the next big classical soloist. So already when we were like, all the students were kind of my age, so we were like 5, 6, 7 years old. He would push us. And I remember he told me, don't play the keyboard, that's not a real instrument, play the piano. So I switched to piano lessons. I think I was 5.5 or 6 years old. And I did all that for basically my entire youth. all those lessons. But I think the deciding factor that made me realize, I really want to do this for the rest of my life came a bit later. Like, I remember my mom asking me if I want to go to a concert at the concert hall in Dortmund, where I grew up, and it was a gospel show. I think I was 11 years old or 12, something like that. And I was like, the hell's that? Sounds like shit. I don't want to go, I was like, no, I want to stay home. I want to play with my action figures. Man, I had a shit ton of Star Wars action figures.
Yes.
God damn, I love Star Wars.
Star Wars.
But she, again, she was like, yeah, you're a kid. You don't really have a say in this. You're going to come. So I went to that gospel show, and I was in awe, man. I was actually in awe. That was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I was like just so happy that night. I was like, my mom still tells me I was smiling, like in German we say over both ears, just like, whoa, what the hell is this? I want to do something like this. And I remember after the show, like forcing my mom to take me to the backstage entrance and camp out there until the guys who did the show came out. And there was this crazy pianist in that show who was also the musical director of that show. They were all from New York. Well, at least the show was from New York. The Harlem Gospel Singers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy, like he's a crazy pianist. Also has a very, very nice voice. I think he actually, like I looked into it at some point. He also played in Fame, like the old show Fame.
Yes.
Yeah. He was an extra on that or something like that.
Cool.
And yeah, I waited, and he came out. He was the first to come out because he just wanted some fresh air. And already while watching the show, I was like so enamored with him because he was like doing like all this crazy showmanship and all that. Like he was like playing the piano, like looking off to the audience and like playing until the piano stops, and then like pretending to fall down and all that shit. Just like funny shit, like getting up, playing standing, like putting his foot on the piano and all that shit, just like making a good show. And he came out and he saw me, and what was it, 2011 in Dortmund, German city, concert hall, gospel show. So of course I was the only black kid there. And I remember him being so happy. He was like, oh my God, a black kid came to our show, And so he was so happy to see me, and that I was so happy about, the music and everything, that he was like, yeah, come in. And he just took me backstage, and I got autographs from like the entire crew. And then he offered me free tickets for the next show. So I went, and then every year they came back. They like kept touring until I think 2014 or 15. Every year I would always go back, and we would be in touch, and he would give me free tickets. And I got to even like be backstage for some of their rehearsals and stuff. I even met his mom one year. It was really nice. So it's kind of like, this first point of contact into like this world of, doing like a show, and like that was when I decided, I want to do music and I want to do a show. Like I don't want to be a teacher. I really want to be on stage and like, touch people and maybe change someone's life the way he changed my life, Yes. So that was amazing. And then eventually the show was discontinued, which bummed me the hell out. But actually, funnily enough, this year they did a retrain, so they're coming back this year. I'm really looking forward to going there. It's going to be on the 30th of December. So I'm interested to see, also if it still holds up, or if I was just, like a little kid, like in awe, and now I'll be like, oh, what the hell is this, man? No, but I think it's going to be really fun.
No,
so
it sounds super awesome. Like gospel is super fun. I've also been over the break listening to a lot of gospel music, and it's just so beautiful. Like it has so much power and love and energy. It's really beautiful. But yeah, also the pianist, that's super beautiful. I think it's always super important to have these people in your life. They really change you.
Yeah, exactly.
And they really make you see things and see beauties in life that you never had the chance before. And it's a very beautiful story. And this teacher is probably a very important person in your life as well. And that's super sick, man.
Yeah, it was definitely life altering. Like I don't know where I would be now if if I had actually gotten my will that one time and stayed at home that night, you know.
Maybe something with Star Wars.
Yeah,
Action figures.
maybe. Yeah, but I mean,
But
working
I
at
think
Hasbro.
you made the right decision.
Yeah, my mom made the right choice taking me.
Yeah.
As with
sure.
everything, funnily enough, also that's how my love for Star Wars grew, because I was like, man, what the hell is Star Wars, you know? And she made me watch the first movie, and here we are, you know. Now I'm a nerd wearing Batman hoodies and all that stuff.
No, but it's good.
Yeah.
Star Wars definitely was my childhood as well. I watched I did it super stupidly. I watched the 5th movie first.
That's a good movie,
because
though.
it was just on TV, and I was like, okay, whatever this is, I want more.
Yeah.
And then just more kept coming, and it was super nice. Yeah. And then now you start also with bass lessons.
Yeah. So I actually, like, I think in 2018 or something like that. Like, so I graduated from high school. I did my Abitur, we say in Germany, in 2017. And then I got here to Artis in 2021. So I had like 4 years in between. And I tried out a lot of stuff there. I actually like started studying to become a teacher for English and maths. Then I kind of remembered I don't like kids, so
not the best decision there.
yeah. But like I also worked and everything, and I remember like I always really just liked the bass as an instrument, but I had no connection to it, you know. I also never like played the guitar or anything like that, so the closest thing to a bass that I had played was the violin, you know. But I, in those like years from 2017 until 2020, so until COVID started, and then a bit into COVID, I had like a small job, like a side job at a like trading card game store in Dortmund, and I basically saved up all my money. And at some point I decided, okay, I want a bass. So I bought a bass. Didn't know what the hell to do with it. I didn't, you know, I wasn't in the right mind space, I guess, to like teach myself an instrument or like look up stuff online and start learning. So I just kind of had the bass, and every now and then I would just pick it up and just like do random stuff really badly. But I just kind of put it away like after a couple of months and didn't touch it again until I got into second year here. And I was like, okay, what do I want to do? And again, I always loved the sound of the bass. So I was like, yeah, I might as well do a bass minor. And then I started with that last year. And that's actually when I started to really practice. I've been practicing my ass off on that instrument.
I'm always seeing you in the canteen just playing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, like I really enjoy it. And it's like so nice to like see your own progress, you know. Like even yesterday I was just practicing some lines, and I was like, man, a month ago I could have never played this. And now it's like at a point where, you know, I know what I need to do and I just have to practice it.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously it's I mean, you can practice an instrument for 40 years and still learn new stuff every day, but that's the thing, that you learn new stuff every day is what I really enjoy.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. I think somebody from Mötley Crüe said once that if he ever stopped evolving in guitar, he just wants to die.
Yeah.
You know, it's about this progress, and I feel like that's always super beautiful. I had that yesterday, that I watched like a 40-minute tutorial on electronic music, and I was like, shit, man, I have no clue about electronic music. There's so much that you don't know, but I think these are the moments where I'm actually the happiest, because I feel like I get to learn so much new things.
Exactly.
And that's super pretty. And yeah, there I think bass is. I don't play bass. I played guitar a bit. I have a bass because my mentor gifted me one, so nice. I have it, and I play sometimes when I have to record something really
doing
easy.
Like the standard bass position, you know.
Yes.
Whenever someone talks about bass, I have one.
I have a bass. Yeah, but it's a super nice instrument, and I think, yeah, I mean, you play so much, you could maybe do your own band on your own as well.
Yeah, but, I mean, not quite there yet, but give it a couple more months, maybe some simple stuff. I mean, I have duo class this year, and I'm actually doing a duo with a guitarist, and I'm playing bass and singing at the same time.
Oh, that's cool. I need to see that.
I mean, I can show you a video later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
please.
you know, it's still evolving. It's still not quite there yet, but it's getting somewhere, and I really enjoy the practice.
No, that's all it needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you also talked about your trading card store, and I think, if I remember correctly, you have a huge hobby there as well, right?
Oh yeah, I sure do, man.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, is it?
Well, actually, lots of games. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is the main one. I'm on a sponsored team for that, so I go to tournaments across Europe mainly. Even though right now I'm kind of a bit in a dip with that because the game, you know, as games do, they evolve over time, you know, because they want to keep it interesting and always get new players to go and everything. And I feel like they might have kind of driven it into a wall, this one. So it's become less about, you know, who's better at the game and more about who's luckier at the game. And I don't enjoy that much, you know, because like, I mean, with every card game, you know, there's a certain factor of randomization to it. Of course, I mean, you play poker, right? It's, you know, it's classed as gambling, but if you have a very good poker player, you know, he's gonna be able to win against not so good poker players, regardless of, you know, what cards he gets. Just because eventually, you know, he's gonna always make the right decisions. He's gonna know when to bet, how much to bet, how many chips to put in, all that stuff. So there's a skill factor to it, right?
Of course.
And that skill factor is kind of lacking right now with Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm taking a break, and I don't know how long the break will be. But I also play Magic the Gathering. Really enjoy that. Actually, kind of made an impulse purchase last Saturday where I bought a Magic the Gathering deck for 850 euros. But I don't know, man. I mean, I never owned Magic cards, so I had this thing. You know, I worked at the store in Dortmund, and whenever I'm on a break, I go to Dortmund, and there's this Magic format called Modern, which, I mean, all the decks cost like between 800 and 2,000 euros. And I didn't really ever want to spend that money. So they play it every Wednesday and Friday, and then sometimes on the weekends. So every time I was in Dortmund, I would be like every Wednesday and Friday, hey, someone have a deck for me. And the guys there are super nice. And I mean, I used to work there, so they also know me and everything. So I would always get something borrowed, but it's still a hassle, you know?
Yeah.
So now I was like, whatever, man, I guess I'll buy one.
And I don't know that game. How does that work with the deck?
Magic the Gathering, when you have a 60-card deck, well, it depends on the format, but Modern, you have a 60-card deck, and both players have 20 life points each, and you just kind of have to try to get your opponent to 0 first.
Oh, okay.
And then, funnily enough, there's like a third card game that I also invested in recently, but that was an interesting thing because I think I'm net positive off of investing on that. Because I went to the Gamescom and Ravensburger brought out this new trading card game called Locana. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's no worries.
Not in the industry there. I'm sorry, but
no worries, man. But it's a trading card game that is only Disney characters.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have like all the classic Disney characters in this card game. And at the Gamescom, they were giving out these promo cards with a special stamp on the bottom that says Gamescom 2023. And they were giving out one per person. So you come to the stand and you're like, I want this promo card. And then they give it out to you. You have to do one of three things. Either you take a picture with them and post it on social media, or you play like their introduction to the game and then you get it, or you spend some money at their shop and buy like some cards, some booster packs, and then you would get it. It would be either or.
Yeah.
So naturally what I did is I circled around like 15 times and got 15 of those cards.
Just with a different pair of glasses.
Yeah, no, not even. So the thing is, I kind of like the guy that was like kind of the bouncer there who was like checking the line and seeing if anyone had been there. I just kind of stood opposite of that stand for like 20 minutes and watched him, and I saw him buying those cards off of people who didn't know what they were worth for like $10 each. So I went up to him and I was like, dude, I know what you're doing. not gonna say anything if you just let me loop around a bunch. And he was like, yeah, sure, okay, man. So
Nice.
I got like 15 of those, and I sold them on eBay for like I think it was 70 or 80 bucks each.
Oh wow.
And then off of all of that money, I bought like all the Locana cards I could. So I like every card that exists of that game right now, which is like, I don't know, not that much yet, but like maybe 200 cards or something like that. I own at least 4 times, which is like the play set that you need to play if you want to play it like, because like you're allowed to play one card 4 times per deck.
Okay.
So like, yeah, let's hope that game does well because I'm sitting on a shit ton of it.
I mean, if you're net positive, then you can only
Yeah,
gain.
exactly. I mean, I didn't spend a single cent out of my own pockets for it.
That's
Basically,
nice.
it was just like those goofy cards there. Those,
And if it's fun to
just
play,
them.
then
Yeah, it's
all the
fun.
better.
I actually really
Yeah.
enjoy it. But there's like no tournaments here in the Netherlands. Like in
Okay.
Germany, it's really big. But at least here in this area, I think I went to a tournament once here in Arnhem, and there was like 2 people that showed up.
Oh wow.
It's annoying, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about that scene either. I just play with friends at home.
Yeah.
But how did you get into tournaments in card games? Also from the store, or?
Oh no, I was 10 years old, and my cousin took me to that store where I then later worked when I was like 18, and they do like weekly small tournaments at that store. So I tried out for 1 or 2, and I really enjoyed it. And then they were like, "Oh, there's a national championship coming up for Germany in Bochum, which is like a 10-minute drive from Dortmund." So I forced my mom to drive me there. Again,
I mean,
10 years old,
she
you
got
know.
you to gospel, so I think.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
owed you.
It's a fair trade-off.
Yes.
And then there's like this junior division where you can play up until you, I think, 14 or 13. So I played in that, and I got on my first tournament immediately to the top 8 of the players. Which, I mean, in junior division, I mean, it's like, what, 60 players maybe back then. Now it's even less, but still top 8, quite good. So I was immediately hooked. And then I just drove everywhere.
nice.
I remember because I got to the top 8, so I qualified for the European Championship. And that was in Italy, in Milano. So I made my mom go to Milano with me that same year. I was like, yo, European Championship in 2 months in Italy, let's go. And she was like, ah. And ever since, I was hooked.
But that's nice, and it's also nice of your mom to drive you everywhere. I
Oh,
think
yeah, for sure.
That's really supportive as well.
Yeah.
Ah,
I mean,
super
I'm
fun.
really grateful for it.
Yeah, nice. That's really interesting. And you are now also working on a single, I heard, with a band.
Yeah. So we have I have this project called Outta Pocket. And it's kind of like disco funk, but also with some R&B and soul influences. Like I don't really like putting it into, you know, like these kinds of terms, because it's kind of, you know, the music that we make is the music we make. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be like, yeah, we're doing exclusively this and this and this, because I don't know, man. I don't want to limit myself.
I think
But
that's
basically, we're working on a single right now. It's a song that I've had cooking for quite some time, but like, you know, first had to find like the right people, and then like the motivation, and then like stop doubting myself, because you know, obviously, like if you start a project and stuff like that, you'll be like, man, is this good enough? Is this what I want to be doing? Is this, you know, can I really put this out there? But no, I was like, you know what, let's just go for it. So we're gonna kind of try and do it a bit unconventionally for this school per se, because I mean, I think here it's quite normal that people will go into the studio, like maybe Edge Tip or something like that, as a band, and just do a live recording, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna try to do like kind of in layers, so like record every track separately, and see if we can like make it like a really clean pop recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna start with the first track next week. So let's see
do you
what
start
happens. Drums.
All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I always record this way with bands.
Yeah.
I think, at least for my projects, I do myself. It helps a lot to just give it this clean feel, and also it's nice that you then have the option to redo things. You know,
Exactly.
if the bass fucks up, you can just do it again.
Yeah.
But there you get a really really clean setup to work with. I just what we always did was we started with drums as well, and then we recorded bass, we recorded guitar on top of it and keyboards, and then we started re-recording the drums because they needed to be better.
Yeah.
And so you get into this endless loop of just re-recording everything all at the time. So be careful of that, I would say.
Man, I've got some idea that might happen for a bit, but I mean, I also trust the guys. I think they're gonna do a good job, and then
Of course. And if
we'll
it's
see.
worth it, do it.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, yeah.
But it's always, that question of how much do I want to polish it before I think it's ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic. I mean, we also recorded a song together recently, and it was like 20-30 minutes of recording.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the mixing phase of it, but I think it turned out very well, especially considering the time. And it was like this very very magical moment. But it definitely depends on the project, wherever you are and whatever you do. Sometimes it takes weeks or months to do something, and sometimes it's just a spark and it works. But I think every of that options is definitely valid.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what kind of song is it? How's the mood on that day? Are you sick? Are you healthy? Are you inspired today? What kind of people are you working with? Is this like something the person's comfortable in, or is it like something outside of their comfort zone? So like, I'm interested to see, how it goes, but I'm not like making any preconceptions of this is how I want it to be.
Yeah.
Because like the most interesting, but also some of the nicest things I've ever heard in music just happened when you just kind of stop worrying about what you want it to be and embrace what it actually is. You know what I mean?
For sure. No, that is really true. I think it is always super draining in energy if you have this feeling of, oh god, what if this isn't good enough, or if you start doubting yourself and everything, you kind of spin it back. Or recently I had that when working on movies. If you start earning money with it, you feel like you have to produce like extra well, because now you get paid for it, and then you start having more of expectations for yourself, and then you start worrying more. And it's totally true. I totally agree. If you just let it go, it helps so much to just get back in the flow and do it.
Oh yeah.
And reflection is important, I would say, but it helps to just let it go for a while and just see where you end up. And I think the most interesting ideas come from.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
How did you get the idea for the band? What was your motivation for that?
Let me think. So I remember I'm gonna have to do a deep scoop for that one, because
Go for it, man.
I used to, like, my first band I ever had was when I was 10 as well. That was an interesting year for
10 was
me,
a
I
busy
think.
year
Yeah,
for you,
it was a very busy year for me. But we just did like some cover song stuff like that. And we did, like 1 or 2 gigs on the Christmas market or something like that. And that band like kept evolving. Like we switched out guitarist, then we switched out our guitarist again, because the first one was kind of not so nice, like personality wise.
Yeah.
The second one was very busy, so we got to a third guitarist, and then we were like, okay, we want to go a bit bigger, because up to that point it was just a guy with a guitar who was also singing, me singing, and a guy with a cajon. So we wanted to expand, so the cajon player then started playing drums, and I found us a keys player and a saxophone player and a second singer. And our drummer found us a bass player. And we had like this band going for a couple of years where we just played shit ton of cover songs, and played gigs like on markets and stuff like that. And eventually we were like, okay, we want to start writing stuff because this is kind of boring. So we wrote like one song, but the band was already kind of starting to fall apart because people were getting to that age where we started studying, so the bassist moved to to some town, like I think 2 hours away or something like that, to study. And for some reason, it was amazingly hard for us to find a new bassist. So we kind of had like this one kind of idea cooking that we never really did anything with, and then the band just fell apart. And then I tried to reinvigorate that idea with some other musicians in Dortmund later, and also jammed on some additional ideas I had with them for a bit. But that also didn't really go anywhere because one of the guys was becoming a father. So we kind of like, it just fizzled. And then I came here and I was like, okay, so I have all these ideas that I never really turned into anything full. So I just got some guys together that I, liked. And first I did it for my overgang. At the end of the first year, the exam, to get into second year, I took some of those songs and we played them. And I was like, oh, this is really fun, guys. I think we should keep doing this. And we did like a Nelson opener with it. So the band kind of then like started evolving, and I started, like checking, okay, who do I want to play what? And like, do I want this guy on the keys, or do I want someone else, and all that stuff. And it kind of got to the point where we're at now. And last year, we already did like a lot of rehearsing. Nice voice crack, by the way. We did
Very
like
musical.
Yeah, exactly. We did like a lot of rehearsing and writing, and played like some small gigs and like some openers and stuff like that. But then at the start of this year, we said, okay, we really want to like, try and make this something, because we think it has potential. So now we're like getting to this point where we want to like record stuff, release stuff, like build like a following on social media and see what happens.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, I wish you best of luck.
Thanks, man.
That sounds super cool. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys cook up with.
Oh, same as me, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it's like, because again, I like had these ideas and I brought them, but it's turned into something already completely different, just off of, bouncing it off the different people. But it's dope, I love it. But I'm interested to see if it's going to evolve even further with the recordings now.
For sure. I mean, it's always nice to see your ideas then played by different people and to see what they come up with and how they change it. It's super nice to bring everybody's personality into something, and then I think it really starts to be something special for that group, and that's super beautiful.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you if you're down.
Oh yeah.
I'm always asking my guests these. It's about a theory about museum life, it's called. So basically what happens is after you die, you will go into your museum. It's the Eddie Museum, basically. And there you have everything that you did in your life. It's actually portrayed. So when you sleep for 8 hours a day, 1/3 of that whole museum is filled with pictures of you sleeping, exhibitions about that, whatever.
Probably less for me.
And that will be the question. What do you think would be in the museum? What would you like in the museum? And what are your feelings about that?
That's an interesting one, man. I mean, again, there will probably be, I don't know if there would be less or more for me, because I don't sleep that much at night because I always stay up too late. But then when I crash hard, and it'll be like 14 hours of sleeping, man. Maybe it evens out to, that 8 hours per day if you like do the math or something like that. But other than that, I mean, obviously I would like for it to be a lot of me making music, a lot of just having fun on stage, maybe, touring, gigging, being in a studio recording stuff, that's kind of boring, but I mean, it's also part of it, but like mainly, like the reaching out to people, like, what I talked about earlier with the gospel thing, just like, building connections and all that stuff, because that's the thing I love, I love like just going somewhere, playing some music, touching some, some souls, talking to people, meeting new people, like having interesting conversations. That's like the stuff I want in there. And then, maybe some small section of it will be like me being world champion of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something like that. I never see.
Whatever happens.
Yeah, whatever happens. No, but I mean just good memories, man. Also like hanging out with friends, just vibing. There'll probably be a massive section on Star Wars action figures. Also some Power Rangers. Ooh. Man, I miss my Power Rangers, man. Yeah, other than that, I don't know, man.
No, that's
I guess
beautiful.
I guess I'll be surprised by it too, just see
Yeah.
what
Let's
motivates
see.
me.
Yeah, it was interesting. Last time I talked with Donna about it,
Hmm.
and she she had this thing that they actually do in class as well. I forgot the name of it. I'm horrible with names, but you basically have this wall of honor of mentors that really changed your life.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any persons in that? I mean, the gospel teacher, your parents probably as well. Who would
Yeah.
be on that wall of honor for people that really changed your life?
So again, the gospel guy, by the way, Anthony G. Evans. Look him up. He's on YouTube. Great stage personality. I try to take as much as I can from my memories of that because it's just very fun to watch.
Yeah.
My mom, my grandparents, my old piano teacher. She was amazing, very supportive. I still, every time I go to Germany, I try to meet up with her at least once and like go for some coffee or something to eat. It's always
Yeah.
very nice catching up. And she's amazing. She does like a lot of shows in like the musical scene, opera scene, all that stuff. But classically trained. But I really, I really respect the hell out of her because she's like really got that work mindset. Who else? Who else? My singing teacher, George Major, that I had in Germany. He taught me some great lessons, man. Because it was that guy that also taught me, tell a story when you're singing. Don't just like because if you just singing a song and you're like showing off for 20 minutes just doing runs and like all that stuff, like people are gonna go get some coffee, get some beers, whatever,
Yeah.
and
It's
like not
interesting
really
for
care.
30 seconds,
Yeah,
but then it really
exactly.
rips off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for that lesson because that guy, like I really like watching him play as well because that guy has a way of just like telling a story when singing. So I think he would definitely be on there. Other than that, I mean, there's some very close friends, but I don't think for a wall of mentors. Yeah, and I mean from here, Andre Hun, I think that man can teach me and a lot of people a lot, and I really appreciate it, and I think it's really fun. Also, very fun guy to just watch. Be himself. Because I think that guy just makes me smile, just cracks
He's
me up.
super nice. I
Yeah.
played with him last year. I did Shoko with him.
Oh yeah,
He played my
nice.
drums for a piece. It was super nice to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually chose Rhythm Lab 3 solely for the purpose that I wanted to have another class with him. And I already have the bass minor, so I couldn't take a percussion minor. So that was my only chance. Well, I could have done Latin, but I'm doing that maybe next year. And then obviously also my main subject teacher, Yolanda. I think I got here in the first year and she was my main subject teacher. And after every year, they ask us if we want to switch our main subject teacher. And after every year, I say, "What are you, crazy?" No, she's amazing, and she always knows just the right things to say for what I'm trying to achieve. She'll be like, "How about you try that?" And I'll try it, and I'll be like, "Wow, Yolanda, you're amazing. You just blew my mind." And she'll be like, "I know," like that kind of stuff. So, yeah, she would be on there as well.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was
Hey, thanks for
very
having me.
nice. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.